Newshub Europe correspondent Lisette Raymer joins us now live. Lisette, who would have thought we would be here? He ran against Liz Truss, he lost, and now he's the new Prime Minister.
Yes, it's quite an extraordinary situation, isn't it? And even today when we were talking to members of the public here, and the first question we asked them after the announcement of Rishi Sunak was, what do they think of the new Prime Minister? And their response was always, oh, she's doing a pretty terrible job of it, which just goes to show that most people here still consider Liz Truss, the new Prime Minister, and already she is on the way out. There is a new person in charge in recovering the economy after the damage that Liz Truss has caused. But certainly, I think a lot of people after the last 7 weeks are now just trying to keep up with all of the changes. Even the fact that tomorrow morning we will see Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss both make trips to see King Charles and go through the whole official appointment all over again, which we saw not that long ago. Of course, Liz Truss was the last Prime Minister to meet with the Queen before she died. So things are moving very swiftly here at number 10.
And Rishi Sunak has spoken this evening, UK time. He's not officially, as you say, British Prime Minister until he has that meeting with the King. But he has spoken about the job ahead, particularly around the economy. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, he has not minced his words. He has said it is a profound challenge that lies ahead, and that is part of the reason he is in this position. Of course, Liz Truss, he always said her plan for dealing with the cost of living crisis was going to create a catastrophe in terms of the markets and in terms of inflation and mortgage rates, and that's exactly what has happened, which is part of the reason he has gained the support of his party now to come in and fix her mistakes. Remember, he was the former Chancellor. He got through COVID. He was the Chancellor under Boris Johnson, who led this country through a very difficult financial period. A lot of people are very emotionally connected to him because of the plans that he put in place throughout COVID to offer them some support and get them through, those businesses and those families, through a very difficult time. So there is a lot of pressure on him now to deliver again and get the country through yet another very turbulent financial situation. Now, of course, it's all going to come down to tax cuts. He always said that Liz Truss's plan to cut taxes wasn't going to work, so we don't expect to see that from Rishi Sunak, especially not in the short term.
What has been the reaction to Boris Johnson pulling out? Because at one point there it looked like he was coming back, and even in standing down he's kind of said, oh, well, I could have done it.
Yes, I think there was a lot of, almost excitement over the storyline of could Boris Johnson make a comeback, and I think the tabloids were loving it, but the British public were genuinely quite horrified at the prospect. Even today, when you'd ask people what they thought of Rishi Sunak, their instinct was to say, well, at least he's not Boris Johnson, at least he will do a better job than Boris Johnson. I think following the news that he was pulling out of the race today and yesterday, there was a lot of debate over whether or not he did have the backers that he said he did. The candidates needed 100 to be put forward as a nominee. Boris Johnson claimed he did. We'll never know the exact numbers because, of course, they weren't all made public. But just certainly amongst the British public, at least, there is a deep relief, I think, that it is not Boris Johnson back here in number 10, not a repeat of what we've seen over the last few months, which has just been utter chaos.
Newshub Europe correspondent Lisette Raymer joining us live from outside Downing Street this morning. Thanks very much for your time.